Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. My early announcement was to having Queen Afua, but to my pleasant surprise, she is bringing two dynamic, or actually three other dynamic people on with her to because October, which I didn't realize was Domestic Violence Month. And so there's going to be a very, very special event taking place at Harlem. You will see that one of my guests is at the top left. That is Sister Stephanie McGraw. She is the CEO and founder of We All Really Matter, which is where the word uh, WARM comes from, the acronym WARM at the top of the flyer. Then next, we will have underneath her Miss Chyna Russell. She is the CEO of Dollhouse Cosmetics. And of course, to the far right, my beautiful, beautiful queen, Queen Afua, who is the CEO for the city of wellness for the sisters here in New York. And then hopefully my brother, Jeff Gardid, who he and I worked together over 20 something years ago at WBLS in New York City. So without further ado, hold on one second. Let me get this off. Okay, let me do this a second. Take this off. Okay, hold on one second. All right. Hi, everybody. Here we go. I'm astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. Before we bring these dynamic women on, let me just get the cosmic forecast straight out the way. All righty. Today is October 22nd. It's almost a wrap. Just 3 more days and it's over. The sun is in Libra. The moon is in Pisces. It goes into Aries late tomorrow afternoon. It's a 7 universal month. It's an 11 universal week. It's a 7 universal day. So for those under the signs of Pisces and Cancer and Aries and Scorpio and Leo, like Queen Afua, okay? Or if you're born on the 7th, the 9th, the 16th, the 18th, the 25th, and the 27th of the month, well, this is an important day for you as well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring everybody up on the first is Stephanie McGraw. Let me see. There we go. There we go. Now all we got to do is get Crystal on here too. There we go. All right. So, okay, to my top, I'm going to bottom underneath me is Stephanie McGraw. She is the CEO. Hi, little one. The CEO and founder of We All Really Matter, or WARM, WARM. So I'm going to start with her first because obviously she's very occupied. And so, first of all, Stephanie, thank you so much for being joining the Live with Lloyd family. Um, Domestic violence is something that's kind of like crazy. I don't understand it. The things that people do to women. I mean, men get it, but not so much like the women. What led up to Warm?
Thank you for asking. I'm so honored to be here, and such an honor to meet you. To be working outside with my dear friend, sister soul, Queen, as I am one of the graduates from the 2016 Sacred Women, and
Yay.
yeah, and to meet this a beautiful, inspiring China, who I'll get to meet in person next Thursday. Um, what inspired me is my lived experience. What inspired me is my traumatic childhood. What inspired me is the violence that I endured for many years. What inspired me, just as a black woman, and coming from um, my ancestors who had endured years and years of trauma, that resilience that is was in them, it was put in me, and I was ordained, I was commissioned, I was chosen to do this work, and it's so interesting because every brick that anyone, any man, any person ever threw at me, God used it to build this amazing, beautiful foundation called Warm. We Are Really Matter. And I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I've had the lived experience, and I didn't see any kind of representation.
Lost you.
Yeah, I didn't see.
You said you didn't see any
Representation.
representation, and then the voice dropped. I don't hear her.
We don't hear
Yes,
you.
hello, I'm here. Hello. You said,
Yeah,
We
your
hear
voice
you.
is going in and out for some reason, but continue, please.
yeah, okay, so I'll turn it up. I'm not in a really good area. Yeah, so I was inspired to do this through my lived experience. I am a survivor, and coming back to my community, I just didn't see any representation, and I didn't see any women that looked like me talking about these issues, thriving from these issues, surviving from these issues, and helping other women get through these domestic violence. And you said it's crazy. Domestic violence is a soul sickness. It's a sickness, and until we start uh, that process of healing, like what uh, we are commissioned to do in Harlem next next Thursday, is to start to tackle that issue of healing, because you can't fix what you can't see. And if we don't hit this issue at the core of the soul and a spiritual sickness, then it will continue to perpetuate. So we're coming at this in a whole new level, because it's real deep, and women are dying every day. Yesterday, me and Queen walked through Harlem to denounce domestic violence. Gladys was killed 23 years ago in her wedding dress, getting ready to marry her husband. And her ex boyfriend came and shot her to death in her wedding gown. So her family keeps her alive. So yesterday we marched to end domestic violence. It was so powerful to see all these women marching in their wedding dresses. So, we
Wow.
have to continue to hit this at the core issue. And if we don't, then it will continue. And it is our responsibility. These are our people. This is us. It's no I and me. It's we.
Now, Stephanie, a lot of people think domestic violence is just physical. Isn't it mental as well?
It is mental, it is psychological, it is financial, it is gaslighting, it is cohesive, it is control. It's not love. So we just say, because love shouldn't hurt. So yes, all forms of abuse is sexual abuse, is financial abuse, is elderly abuse, it's grandparents abuse. It is all different kinds. But one of the most dangerous one of the most dangerous form of domestic violence is the psychological
Yeah,
and the
because
emotional, because you can't see those scars. You can see if a woman gets shot or get stabbed or get a black eye, but those deep down emotional scars that create that kind of susceptibility to violence is the most dangerous form of abuse.
now let me ask you this though, too, Stephanie. Has there been a determination through the U.S. Census Bureau, or other governmental agency as what is the cause, especially the rise of domestic violence towards women? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's always been domestic violence is one of the highest leading cause of death in women in the Bronx. We have the numbers,
Wow.
and we have the studies, and it was done by the mayor's office, so we can say that. I think what's happening now is the awareness that's coming to domestic violence, and more people are starting to talk about it. Women are starting to make the identification, because my own personal life, I wasn't able to make the identification that this was domestic violence, because it was something that I saw growing up in my household, and we didn't call it domestic violence. We just called it, the fighting and making.
We lost you.
Don't hear you.
Yeah, I got to move from this area because they don't want anyone back here. I was trying to come to a quiet area.
Okay, and I know you're busy too, but stay as long as you want to, because we want to talk about the event coming up next Thursday. All right, a week and a day from tomorrow, about the domestic violence. Are you? Are you? It sounds like a lot of children. Are you happen to be around a daycare center or something?
I'm in Alabama with my family. I needed to come get some rest. I'm here with my
Get
family.
out of here! You're in
We're,
Alabama.
yeah, we're at some kind of, I don't know, it's like a big raceway or jump park or something. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going to try
Okay.
to
No,
walk
no,
out to the
no.
car
You ain't
now.
got to explain. You ain't got to explain. But
Yeah.
people will be able to come out and see you and uh China and Queen of Fool on Thursday of next week, right? You'll be in
Yes.
Yes,
Harlem.
we're so excited about the night of healing in Harlem at Harlem Hospital. You know, we're still dealing with critical issues. We are still, this is still a pandemic here. You know, yeah, the pandemic has passed, but we are still dealing with a critical issue right in Harlem, you know, where women are being violated every day. So to tackle this in a different sense, you know, because I don't really see it tackled like this. Like, okay, what do we talk about? Like, really healing from this illness, right? Like, health is wealth, you know, taking care of body, mind, and spirit. So the Queen promotes this healthy eating. Because once you
Yeah,
begin to start tackling into doing that self care for you, then you break all kind of ailments away from you.
that makes sense. Well, now let me ask you this: how long has we all really matter been in effect? How long did you set the organization up? And what motivated you to do that in the first place? You know, of course, of what you've gone through personally, because many women have gone through this, but not every woman says, I'm gonna set something up to kind of take this to the next level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I gave birth to Warm in 2010, and I was simply coming out of another vicious cycle. Gave birth to Warm 20 in 2010.
Wow. Wow. Well, let me say this. What I'm going to do, although this is Wednesday, I'm going to make sure that next Monday and Wednesday, I'm going to announce on the show about the event that's going to be at Harlem Hospital, so that those who maybe missed today will hopefully catch it Monday and definitely Wednesday to see you three beautiful sisters and my dear friend Jeff Gardere on Thursday, October the 5th. All righty. I see family got you busy. It's always nice to have family now, you know?
We can talk a little more about what we'll be doing the whole day because
Okay.
it's a whole day of healing. So Queen can get into. We'll be
Okay.
opening up the space in the morning, and then we'll be going over to Harlem Hospital in the evening. So Queen can speak more into that. I really have to go.
Yes,
Thank
Stop.
understand,
you.
dear. Understand. Thank you so,
Okay.
so much. All right. And bless
Bye
you. See you
bye.
next week.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate you.
Okay, that was Stephanie McGraw, who is the
Mhm.
founder and CEO of Warm. We
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
really matter. So now, China, where you go, young lady? You next. Where's China? Okay, China, come on back. Now, China
Yes,
is the
it is.
CEO of Dollhouse Cosmetics. Now, Dollhouse Cosmetics, that what's the relationship with Dollhouse Cosmetic and the domestic violence next Thursday?
Mm.
So the relationship with that is because my brand, my cosmetics brand, is a passion business, and it was
Mm.
created out of passion, and it's a part of me, and I'm also a face and have been a part of domestic violence, and I think that it gives a different outlook because you can be successful,
Mm.
you can be glamorous, you can be intelligent, you can be all those things, and you can still experience domestic violence. So for me, it was important for women to be able to see themselves when they see me and know that you can make it out of it and there's an ending result, that you can go on and be, yes, you can be a domestic violence survivor, but you can also become an entrepreneur, and you can give your kids a great life, and you can move on, and you can have a great relationship. All those things are possible. So
Mm.
honestly, Dolls Cosmetics was the passion that led me to my purpose, and the purpose is really is like healing and loving on my people and just informing them and giving them information. And my brand is a place to help women really just feel luxury and get a sense of themselves back, because a lot of times women's spirits get broken, physically they change and everything. So I wanted to bring that it together and give women opportunity to feel good again and feel like themselves. So it all ties together, because oftentimes when you look good, when you're feeling good, you can conquer anything. And I think some of those women just need that in itself.
I think that's amazing, because sometimes, because a person can look attractive on the outside, they could be feeling a lot of pain and sadness and suffering on the inside, I would imagine.
And also to let them know that no one is exempt. No one is exempt from things that can happen. I think that sometimes we separate ourselves. We look at other people and we value them more than we value ourselves. So
Yep.
we might see
Yep.
another woman and think that she's better than me, or she looks better than me, so there's no way that she can endure or go through certain things. And I think that it needs to change, because it could save so many women lives by just seeing that this didn't happen to you because you're not worthy or you're not enough. Because these men sometimes can mentally get you to a place of thinking that this is what you deserve. You know?
That's deep. That's deep. Now, in your case, not only physical violence, what about mental or psychological? Did you go through any of that too?
Absolutely, because I'm a powerful woman. I've always been a powerful woman, and I have a lot of powerful women around me. And I think especially even when Queen entered my life, I think that when she came into my life, I became even more awareness of who I was. And I think if you were with a man who is intimidated by that, jealous by that, and don't see the value in himself, he can help manipulate you into thinking that you're not worthy. So that's a whole nother trauma. So you're dealing with the physical, the fear of the physical, and then now psychological, which is actually the most powerful part, because once the mind go, or once the mind get controlled, the rest is just is history, you know.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Now, what made you come up conscious of this, and then what led to you making a break and forming Dollhouse Cosmetics, leading into what you're going to be doing next Thursday?
So it's here's the most amazing part of it is that I didn't experience that physical trauma like that until I actually was an entrepreneur, because I was in a relationship with someone at the time of me being an entrepreneur. So imagine being a young woman. I'm a mother of two. My son's father is in prison. He'd been in prison my son's whole life. My daughter father was murdered when she was 1. And then
Wow.
I'm in this relationship, and I'm an entrepreneur at 25 years old in Best-Style, Brooklyn, owning a brick and mortar store. And I'm dealing with a man that is enraged, a man that's jealous, a man that also is fighting many battles as well, because he is trauma. He has trauma. He has brokenness. He's been abused. It's so many things with him. And I'm trying to survive and trying to raise, and also, wow, raising a black son. And trying to help him survive, because statistically say like he's supposed to be in prison because his father's in prison, and my son is a high school graduate in college. So all those things, I just want to show women that we can be all those adversities, all those things that's working against you, and also being a black woman. I had to do all this while being a black woman, which is extremely even harder, because black women just doesn't have way less, no privileges really. And the privilege that we do have is being women, but there's no other privileges, because white women have privileges, and they have privileges of being white women and being a woman, Indian women, or other women except black women. So that was extremely hard. And for me, after that, surviving my story and still surviving my story, I was like, I have to do something. I have to get out there. I have to speak. I have to tell these women.
Chyna, that brings to mind, I noticed that they always talk about the angry black woman. I never hear about the angry white woman, angry Asian woman, angry Hispanic woman. So what's up with that?
Because honestly, because we are the light, the shining stars, the grace, we the grit, we all of that. They are so intimidated by us. Let's be very clear. This is strategically done, because if they don't do it, and if we was to go in our full potentials, and we would get loved on correctly and get some form of healing, and they let loose of the conditioning that they want over us, then what could they really do with us? Because we are so amazing. And I think that it's the manipulation and making us think that white women just get along, or white women are just so privileged that they have no worries. But white women are very sad too, and white women
White
go
women
through
are abused also.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
domestic
it's
violence
not an
and
exclusive.
Absolutely.
And Hispanic
Absolutely.
women too.
Absolutely. And it's happening in their households and it's happening in their backyards as well. You know?
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
deep. So now what will you be doing on October the 5th at the hospital? You're going to be giving directions or guidance or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be definitely sharing my story with a lot of the women there and just giving them insight and also just giving a form of healing, like even hugs and all of that. Like even simple things like that. Like some women just need a hug to just know that they're heard and they're seen and things gonna be okay, you know? Just to be an assistance. Anything I can, any value I can bring to that room, I want to bring it. Because I'm leading with genuineness and purity and love.
Well, you know what was interesting when you said you were a strong woman, I almost started to say, what's your birthday? But I forgot it ain't that kind of show today, but Queen Afua knows that.
She
Oh
wanna
my
know.
goodness,
She
I'm
wants
so
to
into.
know.
Wait a minute, I'm so into this. Do you understand? I want to tell you my birthday. I am a Gemini.
Tell them your birthday.
I'm a Gemini. My birthday is June 10th. I am a
No
Gemini.
wonder. No wonder. And that's one of my favorite birthdays. In fact, Hattie McDaniels, the first African American to win the Academy Award for Gone with the Wind, was born on that day. And when
What?
she won the
Wait, can
award,
you say
and
that?
when she won the award, they wouldn't even let her attend. Okay,
Oh.
pick up on that. Not only that, but that was the same day, on that day, June the 10th, that Marcus Messiah Garvey died in London, and it was on that. Who's one of my heroes? And it was on that same day, June the 10th, that Jack Johnson, one of my other heroes, died in the South in a car crash.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Monroe was born on that day. There's a whole lot. So when you said June, no wonder.
Wow.
Number one, people don't take no stuff from nobody, bro. They tell it the way they see it. Okay. If you don't want to hear the truth, don't talk to a number one. Women always tell me number one. They speak their truth. You know?
Queen, do you hear this, Queen?
I'm
You-
loving every breath of this. You are the one. You're going to tell it. That's what she's going to do on that day. She's going to tell it.
And in fact, she would have made an excellent lawyer, doctor, or scientist.
Oh my goodness, do not say that. I wanted to be a lawyer. I got accepted to go to Virginia State. I was going to be a lawyer. I got pregnant with my son. It changed my life. I don't regret it. And I became an entrepreneur and it had another purpose on my life. But for you, I have thought about going back to school to become a lawyer, but to become a civil lawyer to help my people and the conditions of the things that we've been through. So it is, I feel like that's confirmation for you to say that I should go back to school.
No, but see, but this is the point. There's never too late to be a lawyer. Now, if you want to run in the Summer Olympics, that might be another thing, okay? You got 2 babies and all that stuff, so you might be a little out of shape, okay? But to be a lawyer, it's all here.
And you know what? Not to cut you off. I don't know if my friend is right there next to her mom. Sharice knows, right? My friend Sharice, that's Queen Afua daughter. She always say to me, Chyna, you have this thing about school because I really wanted to go to school. I really wanted to go to college. I really did. And I didn't get to, and my life changed. And my friend always told me, and Sharice, I don't know if you remember saying this to me. She said, Chyna, why you just don't go back then? You have this thing. Just go back. Go back and do it. If it's on your heart, just go back and do it.
Yeah. Here's what I say to my clients. What you don't want to do is go down the road of life and mentally kick yourself for not at least giving it a chance. Because unlike a video game, life, you can't say, okay, I'm zapped and let me start the game over again. It don't work like that in real life. And you're a young woman, okay? So it would behoove you to do that. At least you can say, I gave it a shot. But number ones are normally just that. They're always winners. They're always very strong will. But sometimes people think that number ones like yourself is like cold or distant, but you're very logical. You're very mental in your thing. And you are an air sign with a fire number. So that means you're self-motivating. No wonder your mate might have been a little intimidated. It's not your fault. He should have came to me for consultation. I could have told him the kind of woman he was dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good one.
They say, brother, you don't roll like that, okay? You don't roll up on her like that.
Wow.
I'm just adding a sense of humor, but I'm very serious about your leadership abilities. So the fact that you are CEO of Dollhouse Cosmetic, yes, number ones are your not only your lawyers and doctors and scientists, they're your CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, presidents, managers, supervisors, director, any authoritative title falls in the opinion of the number one. Yes, it does.
I received that. I believe that you said me all in a nutshell, and they know me, so they know what you're saying is very true.
Very
I say, don't go nowhere. I got to talk to Queen Afua. Queen Afua, hey, lady.
I am so here. I'm so thrilled and excited about this interview. Thank you for giving her to read.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it matches her. It is truly, that's why she has to speak out.
When she said she was a strong woman, in my mind, I said she's either number 1 or number 9.
Yes.
Women under these numbers sometimes have challenges in relationships with the opposite sex because the guys will think, for example, Chyna will probably tell you in the relationship with her mate, he probably accused her of being bossy, dominant, trying to tell him what to do. And her thing is, no, she knows what she wants. She's gonna speak on it.
Yes. She's gonna speak. She's not gonna be able to hold that back.
No.
He needed counseling.
No, she's not a number 1 if she's gonna hold back. No, that's number 1s don't do that. They speak their truth. Period.
Right. Yeah. So you made your point. He need to come out to that event. But you know, this event is not for the women only. It's for our men too.
Great. You know, men have been abused too, you know.
You know, and you know,
That won't get too much
you know.
notice, but men have been abused too.
Yes.
But far less than women.
Yeah, but you know what we consider maybe somebody hitting you abuse, but it's also verbal abuse. Women could be verbally aggressive also. Because you know, it's never just a man or just a woman, it's a family. They're both connected to that stress, that trauma that they bring to each other. So definitely it's a twofold. You know, we carry into the relationship who we are. And then we get into the relationship, it just magnifies, our pain magnifies. So that's why we have to start to heal thyself. You know, woman, heal thyself. A man has to heal himself. And we come together, we're not beating on each other verbally, mentally, emotionally, or physically.
What can we do about things like that to prevent that moving forward to the future? Queen Afua,
having more of these rallies, having more of these coming together. I looked at when we were walking the street with the women from Bronx.
Was this this was the other day?
This was 2 days ago. Was this just yesterday? Yeah. This was yesterday. Something just happened. This was yesterday in Harlem, right on 125th Street. And so the women came from the Bronx and they walked in their white wedding dresses. And then they walked to the state office building where I was there to welcome them in with Stephanie McGraw. When they came in, it was such a warm welcome, which is warm. That's who was sponsored it. Yeah. And then it was solidarity. It's not like this is just happening in this one group. Like you just said, it's only the angry Black woman. What about the angry European woman? We're the only ones who are upset about what's happening on this planet Earth. So this is hurt throughout. So it pulls us together as opposed to just myself, and I, or just me and my community. No, we're all suffering. But you know, just as the women are suffering, the men are suffering. And the women holding on to men who were violent, that means they were both sick together. So how do we overcome that is we have to get healed up. We have to get well. We have to affirm ourselves. And so this is a first detox because when we're eating food that is toxic, we're creating an internal state of violence. That's what's happening.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. We are what we eat. That's what you're saying.
Yes. And what we eat is also what we think. And most foods, if you take a substance in over years and it's not feeding the brain, you're not going to think in your right mind. If the food you're taking is toxic, fast food, junk food, all of that, and you give it to your bloodstream is toxic and it's boiling. So you are quick to anger, quick to attack. And when I read labels in regular stores, the first thing they have on most labels is sugar. No matter what it is, it could be canned food, it could be a loaf of bread, whatever it is, sugar is the first thing. And sugar is the way the brain.
Ketchup, mustard,
everything is sugar.
Think about is laced with sugar.
Yeah, and that's like just to even be aware that sugar is making you hyper, making you stressed out, making you mad, making you go in a state of rage. It's a chemical imbalance.
Now, let me tell you this too, Queen Afua. I've noticed when I shop is of the last maybe several months because I started being more conscious of looking at the ingredients that I'm about to consume. A lot of the products are now saying bioengineered ingredients. They don't say what that bioengineering ingredient is, but they will say, so I'm just telling my Live with Lloyd family, make sure that you read the label. Just because the picture looks nice and you're hungry and all that stuff, that's not the best way to do it. You better see what you are ingesting. And why all of a sudden, Queen Afua, are they including bioengineered ingredients in the food?
Because they're slipping things into the food that they don't even have to say what it is. It's not even real food. I mean, oftentimes we're eating plastic. My daughter did a research and she showed me, she said, there's bioengineered chickens that are made to become nuggets. What chemicals that they induce into the
I heard about
chicken?
that too. I heard about
So we're eating, and since the fast food industry has grown, our health has declined. Because back when I was young,
that's
when I was
interesting. That's interesting.
yeah, the more successful the fast food industries are, the sicker we get. And then it's called convenient food. And those so-called fast food, fried foods, microwave dead foods are in our communities. And that mothers are tired, they go pick up some toxic foods and bring home to their children. I remember one mother said to her son, "What do you want tonight?" She started naming the different names. You want this one or that one or that. So that was like a normal, everyday food consumption. And the thing is, we call it food. It's not really food. It's
It has no
substitute.
nutritional value. It's for
It has
taste.
no value. So if it has no value, there's going to eat away at your body. So your body's going to rot inside. And when your body begins to rot inside, your words become rotten. Your thoughts become toxic.
And your actions too, I take.
Actions, it shows up in your actions. You can watch somebody, even at some holiday meals, when they have some holiday meals, they start yelling at each other, cursing. There's something that I asked yesterday because I did see when I went to Warm, there was a young mother there. She had twins. The children were like, they looked like they were just like worn. They were little, like 7 years old. And the mother was just totally wiped out. She just escaped from her home. And they're going to put her up at a shelter. But you can see the suffering and the pain in her body and the toxic level. So I said, we have to bump up the real food in the body. She probably have never had a salad. I remember one time they said, ketchup is a vegetable. Wow. And we're in the state. We're in the state. Even some of the schools, they have those machines where children can come and just get their junk food all day long. So we are fed on things that have no value, no oxygen, no minerals, no nutrition. I'm going to share with you some facts on how violence they're starting to change in some of the prisons. They're starting to just experiment that when they change their diet to more foods that have higher minerals and vitamins, there's less violence in the prison. You can take that same situation and have less violence in the home, depending on what foods that you're taking in your system. So we actually have more control than we know. And we're going to share some of those foods when we come together at Harlem and, at the Harlem Hospital. And, it's perfect. This is at Harlem Hospital. That's called
Right?
a new day.
Right.
So we're bringing in wellness. Lawyer, hopefully if you're there, you could be there because they want to hear from you. They need to get their numbers. Like you said, I need to talk to some of the young men. You try to mate. He needs counseling.
Well, I hadn't thought about that, but for you, I'll be there.
Okay, well, get that. Bob Law's coming too.
And can I say something too?
Go right
Like,
ahead.
Certainly
I
can,
feel like everything that you were saying, Queen, is so true because I feel like we in such a capitalist world that they give us the food, right, to monopolize off the money because food is $1 billion industry, and then the medical field is $1 billion industry. So they get us sick to give us medication to heal us, but not really heal us. Is a quick fix, is an instant gratification fix. It keep you on medication so you can continue to have longevity with the medication, so they continue to get the finances from you the medication. And then realistically, if you have bad eating, that means you're going to teach your kids to be bad eating. So guess what? Those big manufacturer companies with the medicine, they are projecting that your whole family going to be on the pills soon. So the mother's on the pills, the father's on the medication, the daughter, the son, the whole family. Now that's another industry of so much multi-billion billions of dollars they're able to make. And they're never going to change it. And this is why they're going to continue to be fast food restaurants and they continue to kill us and continue to put the food in our mouths and know it's killing us and know it's giving our kids ADHD because they are making so much money because the food industry is $1 billion industry. And then the medical field is $1 billion industry
and
too.
It's all about the dollar bill.
That's it.
And guess what? Everybody is up for grabs now. Here's the reality that everybody's up for grabs because the white hierarchy, the white man, he's not caring. He want to make money, right? So even though white people are affected by the food too as well, but guess what? The most affected is Black people because we are in the cities and we're in poverty and we're in environments where they have
Food deserts.
worse, the bad food coming to our
Mhm.
environment, most likely in our places where we live and
Absolutely.
in our schools and stuff like that. While the other places in the other environments, like in the city, they have better stores and have better food and have better choices. So all that is
Well,
intentional.
let me say this. I've once posed to a medical person, why is it that for Black people to be a minority in this country when it comes to heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes,
Mhm.
cancer, and other things, we are way out of proportion to the minority?
Well, one of the things is we have food deserts in our community. We don't have a food and vegetable market on every corner. We have, and what do we have on the stores? We have these fast food restaurants, and we're constantly taking in fried foods. Those are stress foods. We're taking foods that process and sugar drinks and all of that. So we're constantly taking that in as of considered food. And even I was in Indianapolis, and that some of their shopping is at the gas station. They do their grocery shopping at the gas station.
Yeah,
That's
these
how,
convenience stations, they call them convenience stores that just pump gas. You can get your lottery tickets and you
yeah.
get your soda, your beer, and you can shop. Yes.
And yeah, and, so I'm glad you said beer because on the weekends I asked, so when are some of the violent acts happened on? Is there a certain time? She said it happened Friday and Saturday, mostly on the weekends. It's the skyrockets because people are now taking the alcohol because they're in pain. More they want to numb it out. They're taking their drugs. So then they have no control. They can take their lives at during that time, and it's very deep because the men are not just taking their wives out; they're killing themselves. Just a few weeks ago, there was a husband. He killed his wife first. Then he killed his 1-year-old. Then he shot his 3-year-old. Then he shot himself. Do you know how much pain and suffering to be in a family where you take we're all going to go out of here because we can't live any further. So, and then I know it happened on the weekend when he was high and he was confused and he was sick. He was so sick. So it's actually, this violence is a disease. It is sickness. And we have to, as a community, we must detox. So one of the things that I'm offering for the women, because the women are the primary healers of the home. I'm offering a 7-day intensive detox where the women will take on the healing products. They'll take on the 7 workshops every day. And now we'll go to following months. And then we'll just continue to do this because we have to create, as far as I'm concerned, every woman has become a healer of her home.
Now, here's the thing. I want to show this. This lady, she was a Black mom that was interviewed about somebody taking one of her children, and then 2 weeks later she was killed.
Yes, that is what is taking place. And so because there's some mothers that have taken their babies and shook their babies to death. Some of those mothers are in jail now. They didn't know how to handle the stress of baby crying. And they would just hold the baby and say, stop crying, and shoot the baby to death. So there's a lot of pain, a lot of rage that we're carrying. And we're not going to get rid of it through an aspirin, and we're not going to get rid of that pain through the drugs and the alcohol. We're not going to get rid of that. But there's a way out of that pain and suffering. We just got to transform our bloodstream. Pain is also in bloodlines. What your mother and your father did, or your grandmother and grandfather did, is violence in the family. Word, thought, deed, action, and that just goes from generation to generation. So we're asking for families, generations to come out, and let's begin to heal as a family. I just finished speaking to one sister just now, and she said, I have to take this wound care love training, become a practitioner, because 5 of my aunts had hysterectomies, and my mother had a hysterectomy, and I don't want to have a hysterectomy. And she knows that she's in that bloodline. Yeah, so we got to clean up the bloodline, but we have to start with ourselves. So anyone who's feeling a sense of violence in their bodies, violence in their food, violence in their home, they need to come out to this event.
But
And
it's
then they need to
interesting
come back and help the rest of the family.
because back in the day of our mothers and our grandmothers especially, there was no such thing as a hysterectomy.
Never heard of it then. Now all of a sudden, well, that ties into the dead substance that we're taking. We call it food because we put it in our mouth. We say that's food. Because you put it in your mouth, you can chew it and swallow, does not make it food. Right? It makes it poison. And that's what we have been taking in day to day to day for years, poison. And what comes out of a poisoned body is a reaction, an argument, a fisticuffs, a last word, a battlefield, all of that. That comes out of it. I also love the entrepreneurial spirit because many times women feel like they can't make it because they don't have the finance. So they stay in a relationship because they don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to start.
Mhm.
They don't know how to overcome. They don't know how to start over. And when you start to clean up, you start to say, wait a minute, I have a gift. I can do this. I can do that. You know, so then you start to grow out of that relationship if it's that sick. And the same thing goes for our men. Our men need to come out too, because this is not a war on our men. It's not, and it's not like we just innocent women. We also are suffering verbally, mentally, emotionally, and they are too. And that's what I'm saying. It's going to take families healing each other. It's
But
going to
to
take all of
me,
us.
the abused woman has a ripple effect far more than beyond the women themselves. It's the women directly, but it's there that it ripples down to her children,
Yes.
especially the girl children, how they're
Mhm.
raised, the boys, okay, and the men that they're even dealing with.
Yeah.
So it has a ripple effect across the board. And I don't think we really understand the connections in that sense
Mhm.
of how. So okay, so you're abusing your woman, but not realizing the ripple effect. It's like a boomerang effect. You throw it out there, it comes back. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So it's just amazing. So, but I'm very glad. Now, China, you tune in. Now, what can be expected? I know you said you're going to be giving hugs and stuff. Her mic is muted. Your mic is muted. Let me see.
Yes, I'm here.
A
Okay, good.
story.
Oh, now I know you said you're going to be giving out hugs and kisses, and what else? You're going to be giving out your business card so people can purchase your products and support what you do.
Yes, absolutely. But to be honest with you, I'm more concerned and more worried about the women there. I definitely want the women to receive me. I want to leave there with them knowing that they have someone that's there. That it just because I'm not their family or they just met me, that doesn't mean that I'm not there for them. I want them to know that they have someone there because Queen was there for me. And I feel like a lot of women will feel like they can do it if they just had that one person, somebody that just tell them like, I got your back. I can help you. I can help see you through this, you know? So
Yeah.
I just want to be that, definitely. And
Now,
that,
I was telling Queen before you joined back that the woman that's abused, the ripple effect is far more than the woman itself. That's more direct. The
mhm,
indirect is like you said, you have a son. How
mhm.
has he been affected? You have a daughter. How is he affected? You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
So they can move
absolutely.
forward. And
So
how
I
do
was
you?
still on. I was still on. I just had my camera off because I listened to everything y'all saying. I wasn't gonna miss nothing y'all
Okay,
was
good.
Mhm.
So how do you then? So did your son ever say anything since he's a high school? I guess so. He was probably maybe old enough at some point to see
So
when
he
you were
was.
abused. How does he deal with it, or you get him to deal with it? Because I'm sure you're not the only mother with children that's been abused.
Absolutely. So my son was at that time, my son was about probably like 12, 11. And to be honest with you, my son had changed. My son became very, very, very angry. And I thought that my son didn't know because it wasn't a thing where it was like in front of them because it wasn't like that. It was very manipulative. It was in private at times. But your kids still see and they know and they hear and they smart. So he started to act out because a lot of boys, especially boys, they go through that because when they see their mom being hurt by a man, it hurts them because they're taught from very young to protect your mother. And a lot of times people tell young boys, especially black little boys, like, oh, you got to be the protector of your mother. Now in his mind, he thinking that he's supposed to protect his mom and he's 12. How can he protect his mom from a grown man who physically can beat him? You know what I mean? So imagine that fear. Imagine that fear that my son was living with feeling like, my son told me he thought that my ex was putting something in my food. That broke my heart because that means that my son saw my personality change. For him to say, Mommy, I thought he was probably poisoning you or something. That
Wow,
means I was
that's
acting
deep.
out of myself.
That's deep. That's
Absolutely.
deep for your son to think that way
Hmm.
toward your mother.
Yep.
Yeah,
He did. He really did.
that's very profound because it brings me back to I had the same violent experience and I was in my 20s.
Mm,
And I remember, so we do have to ask our children, what are you feeling? What are you
mm,
going through? Because they are picking up, as you said. And my daughter, she was 3 years old, and she said, Mommy, let's leave daddy
mm.
and let's go to grandmother's house. I said, whoa. I said, if a 3 year old, a little child gonna tell me to leave her father and go to a safe place, I'm gonna listen. I think it took me a few days to pack up
Mm-hmm.
and move on. Because if she's picking that up, then if I stayed and she became a teenager and watched the violence as a norm, there's no telling what would have happened to her life.
Absolutely. I feel the
You
same way,
know?
Queen.
So
I
we
feel
have
the
to
same
pay
way.
attention to our children and pay attention to ourselves. That they are seeing it. It's like you can't go, like you said, I thought it was in private. They can see when we shift our attitude. And sometimes when you get beat up, then you beat up your children with your attitude, with your words. So then it just becomes one cesspool of family, sickness, and madness. And we gotta jump out of that. And we gotta know that we can start over. We have to know that we can stop it, the pain right now, and leave. When we finish that night, there's gonna be some women going to go over to Stephanie and say, how do I get out of it? I'm ready to go out now. They're going to walk out of that Harlem hospital and say, I need to start a new life. And they're going to be able to start a new life. And that's what we all here to share with them, that they can start over and they can be successful. And life does not have to, you don't have to feel like a failure and there's no way out. And that's where they stay in and get beat up again.
Because the
They
flyer
stay in.
says to detox and de-stress.
Yes.
Hold on one second. I do want to, there's something that does not relate to this, and I want to make this clear. This a person invest. They said, dang, I donated to be ignored. Sorry about that. He did say later on, or she said later on, that this was the first time reading. Well, yes. As I tell people, if I get you, then you want to donate, fine. But don't donate if you don't, because I don't want nobody to feel I'm ignoring or ripping you off. Queen Afua knows how I operate. That is not
Exactly.
my
He's a giver.
style. But I would think, in light of this priority about the abused and domestic woman, that has more priority. So if you donate it, whatever it is, I'll try to do that later. But it is not about ignoring you. Because I like sleeping good at night. Okay. And believe me, I wouldn't take your donation to be ignored. Okay. But I get so many people. But I just want to make it clear to other people that come. And I've already told the rule. If you want to donate after I talk to you. Then if you want to make a donation, you do that. But don't donate. And if I don't get to you, then you're gonna, I don't operate like that. Okay. And I'm not going to respond like that too. And I'm not going to be made guilty because of that. All right. So all I'm saying is that if you feel that way, the next time when I read you, if you want to make a donation, then make the donation and we fine. Okay. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Okay. But he did say it's the first time, and he or she said it was the first time. So I'll let that go. But I want to put that for other people that may have made donation and I didn't get to you. But I think we need to get to this issue. This issue is far, far more important than the donations, because I'm sure all of us had a mother. Okay. And it affects us directly or indirectly. Anyway, Stephen Williams from Chicago, Stephen and Carol Williams, they said sacred woman. They know who that is. That's you, Queen Afua.
Yes.
You,
Wonderful.
Crystal. And that's all about women. Okay. So thank you very much for that. And for Index, he said they said, or he or she said this is their first time. I understand that. But believe me, I told people, I made it clear that you want to make a donation, because I'll get so many people and I got only so much time. I'm trying to focus on my guests, not the comments, which is why I have a moderator to do that for me on Monday and Wednesday. And if I'm saying, if you feel that way, then don't donate a penny until we talk. And then if you want to donate something, and I'd rather you give the cash app to the guests, to be honest with you. Okay. And make sure, because I am sure that when you set yours up, Chyna, you did it on your own. You didn't have no resources. You didn't have no bank loans, nothing. You just stepped out on faith. And now you have built the Dollhouse Cosmetics. So, you got some cards. So people, after you give the support for the women that need it, you make sure that they can also reach out to you in that way. And I like how you said it's compassion products. I like that. And Queen Afua, you just off the chain with the stuff you bring. Okay. I mean, it's just really nice. Now, so it's going to be, let me put up the flyer again so people can see.
Thank you.
It's going to be, and this is the flyer. It's going to be this Thursday at Harlem Hospital at
No,
506.
next Thursday, not
Next
tomorrow.
Thursday. I got excited.
October the 5th, yes, and from 6 to 8 o'clock. It's a free event. come one, come all, bring family members. Come if you want to help other women to heal themselves.
I
You may
like
be
that.
well, but you want to encourage other women that it's okay. And you might have an answer in that audience that's going to help to inspire someone. So it's really everyone in that circle is going to help everyone in the circle. So we're looking forward for this is a call out to homegirls and medicine women, peacemakers and wounded women, game changers, wound workers, sacred women, and men who love and protect us. You being one of those wonderful men, and Dr. Jeffrey being the other, and many other wonderful men in our community that stand up for us and stand up for our family healing. So come on out. And this is to prevent the violence. You could start over. This could be your night of starting over. Say, guess what? I'm going to start over that night. Detox our pain, renew our lives, prevent violence, come out of our shame. You have to be ashamed of your story. Tell it, and you say it, then somebody will say, you know what, I'm feeling the same way. I need to heal. Women overcome now, receive free time throughout the night. Now, during the daytime, at 12 o'clock, it will be a Be the Change, Detox Your Life. This is Honoring Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's going to be at the headquarters of WARM at 8 West 126th Street, and that's during the daytime. And I'll be preparing everyone
Excuse me,
for the
what
second
time,
day.
what's the address of that so people know again?
Yes, WARM is hosting 8 West 126th Street on the second floor. That's going to go from 12 to 3. I'll be doing book signs around 3 o'clock. Bring your book. You're going to run out of books, I know already, because people are going to want the Sacred Woman book, the journal book, the Heal Thyself book. You can bring your books, or you can purchase your books in advance and bring them. This is about be the change. Understand that we can shift our condition. We don't have to just waddle in it and feel hopeless. Be the change, detox your life, this generation, for our sisters, mothers, and daughters. There is hope. And the hope is in our hands, the hope is in our hearts, and the hope is in our community and our unity. We stick together. There's nothing that anyone
We
that they come
better,
that night, they will be successful.
we better. And by the
Yes.
way, 506 Lenox Avenue for the old school people, they know Lenox Avenue, but it's now been changed to Malcolm X Boulevard.
Okay.
So if you say you can't find it, so it's interchangeable. It's 506 Malcolm X Boulevard or 506 Lenox Avenue. But it's on the corner of 135th Street, for which they've now put in the honor of the late Harold Belafonte, who grew up in Harlem.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's all day. It's from 12 to 4, and then there was more breaks to get from 126th Street to get over to Harlem Hospital. I thank Harlem Hospital for giving us this opportunity to bring wellness into the hospital, because a hospital is for the wellness.
Yeah.
That's what it
By the
should
way,
be.
is there a particular room or floor that's going to be
I
on?
think it's in the main theater, about 400 seaters, so it's going to be plenty of space. And we're going to bring times out, so come out early, because first come, first serve. You have to take everybody who comes in with the free tonic. So,
Okay.
so it's going to be in the main. You'll see large posters around the hospital. They put them up already for the community, the hospital. Those the families who have come in and take care of their family, they can come and join us. Everyone is welcome.
Now, this is the banner that's at the bottom, so everybody can take, and there are also 2 phone numbers at the bottom of the screen that they can call for further information. Okay, that is 917-670-4689 or 917-736-1621. Again, those numbers are 917-670-4689 or 917-736-1621. Ladies, I got to commend you. Got to commend Stephanie McGraw for doing this, because women, we all need help more than we realize, okay? Because mental health is a very serious problem. And every time I read there's something about some murder, some guy killed a woman, a child, and a dog. I mean, like that's kind of crazy. And let me tell you this. Recently, I was at a funeral, right? So going to the burial site, they were telling me that there was a young group of kids arguing in the cemetery, shooting at each other.
Oh, wow.
And I'm saying, really?
Well, it's the gangs. They're fighting each other. Who killed
Yeah, but
who?
in the cemetery there, that's where they're going to go anyway. Okay.
They're going right into the cemetery. Right. That's what's happening. That's how bad it is. When the pain is so much you cannot bear it, you are ready to leave your body. That's what happens when you get to that point of that much pain in our community. We have that much pain, and it's hidden behind the doors and the walls. But it's coming out of the house. It's coming
That
out of the
is
doors. And the
so
walls.
deep,
Yeah.
Queen Afua.
That's a very deep
That's very
situation.
profound what you just said.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, you would think that that would be the last place you want to start a little mischief, much less some drama.
Yeah, yeah,
Cemetery.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But anyway, listen, I want to thank you ladies very, very much for this. At the
Mhm.
bottom of the screen is don't forget warm, which is we are we are
We all matter, and
yeah,
also they can
thank
check
you.
us
I
at
never said it, then all of a sudden like that. We all really
really
matter. That's what
matter.
it
And they
is. We
also
all
can check
really
us
matter.
at queenafua.com, www.queenafua.com, because we do have formulas and consultations. And I have a training coming up for women's womb wellness starting tomorrow, and Sacred Women, Men Heal Thyself. So we have answers already that I've been developing over the last 15 years.
Queenafua.com. Okay.
That's
Now,
it.
and Crystal Russell, do you have a site that people can go to that you can share with us?
Yeah, so I would like you guys to follow me on Instagram too, and is at Dollhouse Pretty. That's DOLLHOUSEPRTTY. And then my website is thedollhousecosmetics.com. And that's where you can find, like, I'm having a webinar. I'm gonna have a webinar soon on November 6th. And it's gonna be teaching people how to consistently make 30 orders online for a consistent of 30 days. Because I feel like a lot of businesses, they don't know how to target their audience. They don't know how to sell to their audience and things like that. So I'm going to be doing webinars like that to just teach women and men how to navigate their businesses and stuff like that.
Okay, Crystal, you said it
Okay.
kind of fast, so I need you to repeat everything all over again because I couldn't find my pen. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
so, so my Instagram is Dollhouse Pretty. So it's Dollhouse, DOLLHOUSE, Pretty, PRETTY.
They
One
got
word.
that right. Good.
Yes. And then my website is thedollhousecosmetics.com. And on my Instagram, you'll see me promote my webinar. The webinar is going to be for people who want to start a business, or people who have a business, or even people that is in a service business that want to come out with a product to sell products for their business. I'm helping you do that as well. And I'm also teaching people how to prepare for Black Friday, because I do extremely well for Black Friday.
Slow down, Chyna.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to be teaching people how to prepare for Black Friday and how to maximize their sales on Black Friday. I also mastered how to get an audience to buy a product and focus on a product. And there's certain key things that you can do to be able to get your product to sell effectively, because people do like systems. So in that webinar, I'm going to be teaching people how to sell their product as a system, because people like and they rely on systems. So that's what's going to be a part of the webinar as well. And just more of these type of panels, and just more healing and wellness and everything. I'm even on my wellness journey. I'm working out every day. My refrigerator looks different. I used to think like taking care of my kids, and also I used to think taking care of my kids was having a packed refrigerator, because my mom, we always had everything, Doritos and chips and cereal and milk and all this stuff. And now I'm realizing it's not how much is in the refrigerator, it's the quality of what's in the refrigerator. That's
Wow.
also helping my kids be better, because even
Can
with
you
my
repeat
son,
what you just said?
Woo, that's powerful.
yeah, it wasn't, it's not about how much is in the refrigerator, it was the quality of what was in the refrigerator. So now if you look at my refrigerator, you see more greens and you see more colors, more things to make us feel better. And I learned that from Queen, and I learned that from Sharice, teaching me about how food can affect the way you feel and stuff. And I even seen it with my own kids. My kids are way more conscious than they ever been. And Sharice actually was the first person to take them to Whole Foods, and now my kids is a regular at Whole Foods. They go to Whole Foods on your own.
Yeah, they call it whole food, whole check, but it's
Right,
all right.
exactly. So just evolving and just growing and just becoming better and just loving on myself and loving on my kids. And I feel like we just feel even better. I feel like I know for sure I think better now that I've had less sugars and less processed foods. I'm feeling better. I look better, you know?
And
Well,
you're working
ladies,
out. You're working out on top of it. You know, one good thing leads to another great thing. That's what's happening. It's like one bad situation can lead to another bad situation unless you decide to make a choice. But I can imagine how that refrigerator is looking all green and charged up. And that's going to reflect in the children and the stability and your calm and your creativity is off the chain.
Well,
Absolutely.
Take the
I see on
workshop.
next Thursday, people gonna be wanting to get your autograph, ladies. Okay. So that's
Especially
looks
Queen,
like
especially
to
Queen,
me, you know
especially
what I'm
Queen.
saying? So anyway, ladies, thank you so,
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for
Thank you
Again,
supporting
so
us.
much,
and
Lord.
yes,
Thank
Thank
I
you
will be
so
you.
there at your invitation, Queen of Four, next Thursday. I'm
Yeah.
kind of like laid back, but whatever I
But
can
you
do.
can give us the read for that date. I'm not trying to
Oh,
be
yes, you
thirsty or
did ask
anything.
that. On that day, October the 5th of 2023, it will be a 5 universal day. 5
Okay.
is always a day that represents a change for the better. And I'll
Okay.
leave it at that. It's a
Thank you
That's
so
enough.
much. I'm
change.
excited to meet you on Thursday. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. It's no big deal. I'm just Lloyd.
So you're the biggest deal. Thank you. Thank you for your support. You set it
Thank you.
off.
Thank you. And y'all
Thank
have
you.
a nice day too, ladies. Okay. Y'all take good
Okay.
care of yourselves.
All right.
Good
Um,
You
night.
too. Thank you
good
so
night.
much. Good night.
Um, so anyway, this at the bottom of the screen is how you can go. It is to honor Domestic Violence Month for October. It's the Day of Harlem Healing. It's Thursday, October the 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. There are going to be activities earlier during the day, but call those numbers if you want to find out more. It'll be at Harlem Hospital at 506 Lenox Avenue or Malcolm X Boulevard, as it's now called, New York City 10037 on the corner of 135th Street. That's where it is, on the corner of 135th Street. And the moderator will be Bevy Smith, and the number to call is 917-670-4689, that or 917-736-1621. There's a couple of things I want to announce before I do end. Beginning next month, my brother King Simon is now sponsoring the show. He's going to have a master class. Okay. He's going to teach you. He is one of the best on the planet. Okay. Seriously. He is having a master class and he has committed to sponsoring the show through the month of October. He's going to, the event will be on October the 28th from 11 to 2 p.m. As King Simon says, stop playing. He don't play. Okay. So if he's giving a masterclass webinar, it's going to be a serious masterclass webinar. And I want all of you, if possible, humanly possible, to be in attendance. Also, today and tomorrow is the last day my course will be on sale. If you look at the prices, if you had to pay retail, you'd be in the hundreds of dollars. But if you get it for less than about 50, 60 bucks. I think it's even less than that. And you own them and you go at your own pace. So it's the Learn from Lloyd series, Learn from Lloyd how to read a person like a book, Learn from Lloyd the next step in numerology, and Learn from Lloyd the do's and don'ts of numerology, that was co-produced and actually recorded by Jazz Aphrodite and myself. So that's it. And by the way, September is nearly over, but the free monthly newsletter will be out in October, which will be sometime next week. So that will be on its way. But in the meantime, just go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. And by the way, I want to thank you for those of you who are downloading my app. A lot of it's been worked out. It's not 100% yet, but bear with me. I'm getting there. And the nice thing is the feedback you're giving me here at this location of star8llc@gmail.com. That's been very helpful. I'm able to pass it on to the developers because I can't kind of articulate the way you're putting it, but because the developer helped do it, they know what you understand. And I got a nice email about a person who said how fast I got a response back. So I'm doing the best I can. And when I start walking on water, I'll let you guys know. But right now, Lloyd ain't doing that for no time soon. But anyway, I want to thank you. So again, I do want to thank King Simon for stepping up to the plate and say he want to sponsor the show for the entire month of October. And for me, it's an honor and a pleasure because in every respect, this is truly, truly my brother from different mothers, but he is my brother nonetheless. So everybody, I do want to thank you very, very much. You guys and you ladies too, excuse me. You'll all have a nice weekend. You'll take good care. And if you don't take good care of yourself, the question becomes, as I always say, who will?